Hi, welcome. So today we're going to be talking about jumping up. Now, the first thing you guys need to decide in your house is whether you mind the dog jumping or not. So if one person in your house doesn't mind and they encourage jumping, and somebody else in the house doesn't want the dog jumping, that's going to give your dog mixed messages. So you need to decide right now what your rules are. And if you don't want your dog to jump, we're going to show you some methods that are going to help to reduce that a little bit. Now, there's lots of times that your dog might jump. The main time will probably be when you've been out and you come into the house, your dog's excited to see you, and they start jumping. The first bit of advice we're going to give you is that when you walk through the door, you ignore your dog. I know that sounds really hard, but you need to ignore your dog for at least 2 minutes. That means you don't look at him, you don't touch him, you don't talk to him. If he needs to go out for a wee, open the back door and let him go out for a wee. But no contact with the dog at all, so that we can take away that association that when you're coming home, there's all this excitement. It can just be you come home and, oh, look, you're home. That doesn't mean your dog's going to be any less excited to see you, but we're going to start greeting the dog when he's in a much calmer state of mind. So you want to wait until your dog kind of looks at you and goes, wow, you're really boring. And then you're going to quietly call your dog over, get down to your dog's level, and really quietly say hi to him. So he's not going to be any less excited to see you, but he's not going to be as likely then to jump up at you. Now, to control this greeting a little bit more, you can hook your thumb under your dog's collar just to keep all 4 feet on the floor while he's saying hi to you. Good boy. And that will help to break the habit of him jumping up at your head. Hey, good boy. Now, some other things that you can do, is lots of ways that we can help with the jumping, is when you greet your dog, you can scatter some food on the floor and then stroke him. And then when the food finishes, put some more food on the floor. This will encourage your dog to keep his head nice and low when he greets you. Rather than coming up to your face, he's going to come in and then go nice and low. Good boy. And then we can help to break the habit that way too. Good boy. Good. The other thing you can do is you can ask your dog to sit before you say hi to him, or to lie down, depending on what your dog's good at. So you can see he's offering a sit or a down. So you could ask your dog to sit or down. Good boy. Good. And then stroke your dog when he's lying down. And if your dog jumps up, withdraw yourself, no contact. So your dog learns that he only gets touched when he's actually got all 4 feet on the floor, and not when he's jumping up at you. Good boy. No. Good. Good boy. Now, stroke your dog really calmly is going to be key here. If you've got a really hyper dog like Sprocket here, you'll find that if you're really mad saying hi to your dog and you're hyper excitable, your dog's going to join in with that energy too. So if you do have kids that say hi to your dog, for example, make sure you show them how to greet your dog calmly to encourage a much calmer greeting rather than the manic jumping up in their face and biting. Good boy. The other thing we can do is to teach your dog to offer a sit or a down instead of jumping, even if they think you're inviting them. So if you do have visitors or kids that just don't listen, who will make silly noises at the puppy, or they might clap their hands and encourage the dog to jump up, we want the dog to see these cues as a cue to sit and lie down, not as a cue to jump. So we can actually train our dog this. So the first thing we can do is teach a dog that when someone says hi, it means sit. Or down. I think Sprocket says down probably. So I can go, hi, down, yes. So I'm going to give what we call the new cue first, which is hi, followed by the cue down, and then we're going to give him a treat. So that Sprocket learns that hi is basically the new cue for down. Hi, down, yes, good boy. Sprocket, hi, down, yes. Good boy. Hi. Down. Yes. Good boy. And you can do variations of this depending on what people say. Like, you know, if you're someone stopping you in the street to say hi to your dog, they don't necessarily know his name. So you can do lots of different variations too. Hi, puppy. Yes. Good boy. Hi, puppy. Yes. Good boy. Good. Now he's offering the down now, but if he didn't offer the down, I would then tell him to lie down and then reinforce that behaviour. Good boy. Hi, puppy. Down. Yes, good boy. Down, yes, good boy. And then once your dog can do that really well with you talking to him, you can always encourage your dog to jump. A lot of people will be like, oh, hi, I want you. They don't mind your dog jumping, but obviously we mind our dogs jumping. So we can teach the dog that this cue also means lie down. Good boy. Down, yes, good boy. Sprocket, down, yes, good boy. Sprocket, down, yes. And we want to try and get that down in before he jumps, so we're not always doing this, he jumps and then lies down and gets a reward. We want to try and eradicate that down altogether. If he does jump, it's not a big deal, but try and get that down in before he actually jumps up so that we can teach him that this, down, yes, means down, not jump. Sprocket, down. Oh, there's more feet down there. Down, yes, good boy. Sprocket, down, yes, good boy. Sprocket, ready? I'm so excited. Down, yes, good boy. And start with this really basic. So we want to try and set our dogs up for success with this exercise. And then you can gradually, as your dog gets good at it, gradually make it a bit harder, get a bit more excited. And really with jumping up, it's all about consistency. Don't ever say hi to your dog when he's jumping. Always be really consistent with him. Don't let other people let your dog jump up. So when you're in the street and someone wants to say hi, hook your thumb under his collar so he can't jump up, or scatter that food down by his feet so that they can say hi to him without him jumping. It's really important you take control of every single interaction your dog has so that there isn't one single person rewarding your dog for jumping. If you ignore your dog for jumping, but one person in 100 says hi to your dog, that behaviour will get stronger. Because what's happening here, it's a bit like gambling. You put the coins in the machine and you're not really getting anything back, and every now and again you get a jackpot and you're like, wow, that was really worth putting the effort into. So with the jumping up, it's the same thing. He keeps jumping and jumping and jumping and getting ignored, and eventually one person says hi, jackpot for the dog. So then he's more likely to try harder next time. So it has to be all or nothing. The other thing you guys can do, if you've been working on your boundary training, I'll go get the boundary now. Sprocket. So if you've got a boundary at home that you've been using, like a dog's bed, you can teach your dog to go to his bed before he says hi to you. So when you come in through the door, okay, and the dog's excited to see you, Sprocket, hi Sprocket, bed. You can send him to his bed when you come in through the door, and you can reinforce him for staying on his bed. Sprocket, bed, good boy. And you can just reinforce him for staying on his bed until you then release him to come off to say hi. So this can be used as a way of making sure your dog waits until he's been given permission to say hi to you. Good boy. Okay, good boy. Okay, so those are pretty much the main points to consider with your jumping up exercises. So practice these with your dogs if your dog is a big jumper, and you should start to see quite rapid improvement. With some dogs, it can take a while. So especially with puppies, you may find that it does take a while before they understand, especially if you have been reinforcing jumping with your dog. So be consistent, follow through, and make sure everybody else is following through too, and get everybody in the house to practice these exercises with your dog, and let us know how you get on.